Hey, Christophe. Thanks
Hello.
for being with us today. It's great to see you again.
Yes, thanks, Shira, for inviting me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we met last time. I think it was a few months back. We were demoing Rayon to you, and happily you're using it since. Um,
Yes,
yep. So I'd love to introduce for everyone listening. Introduce yourself. Introduce Coloc Housing, which is a co-living company, and you're the CEO.
yeah.
So please, maybe you can say a few words about it.
So we are a co-living company based in Belgium, Brussels. We are present in now in 5 Belgian cities. I think we have now approximately 43 buildings, co-living communities that we manage. And we have, I think by summer next year, we'll have 74 co-living communities. So
That's
up,
amazing.
I think something 650 rooms will be managing by then.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you've started Coloc Housing about 5 years ago, is that correct?
yeah. Started 5 years ago, but the idea actually stems from 7 years ago when I actually rented with friends a very big building in the center of Brussels. And it was an amazing experience. Back at the time, I was consultant, um, and I was managing for the co-living, and I liked it so much that I wanted to make my job out of it. And before I knew it, I was managing 2 houses and 3 houses and 4 houses. I think by the fifth house, I said, "Okay, let's turn this into a company."
Mhm.
And 5 years later, now we are where we are.
Yeah.
And by the way, I also met my wife by
Oh,
renting a room to her.
oh,
I think it was the sixth house I had in my care. I rented a room to her, and I think
oh,
3, 4 months later we were together. And then she decided to join the company, and then we did it with just the two of us. Until 2 years ago, and then other investors actually stepped in, and
yeah,
also my current partner, business partner, Karel, who's also the CFO of Coloc Housing. So now
that's
we are a team with 6, 7 people, without counting all the freelancers and also all the entrepreneurs and constructors we're working with.
wow. Okay, so a lot to unpack there. First, I want to say that it's really a nice story that you met your wife like that. And I noticed on your website that one of your like CTAs is come live with us, value and experience togetherness, have fun, work, and maybe also find love. So I understand
Yeah,
now you wrote that.
it's true, and I think it already happened many times that
Yeah.
people found love in our projects. For us, what is most important is that people feel at home. So we decorate and we also design our spaces in a way that people stay as long as possible because they feel comfortable, and they really have a sense that okay, this is. In French, we say "mon chez moi." Okay, like it feels like home,
Mhm.
and this is what we're creating, like a very home environment where people can meet each other, make long-lasting memories.
Yeah.
This is our aim.
Nice.
So it's not we're not the. Many people think we're a booking.com or we're a hotel. This is not the case. We
Mm.
really just want to design houses where people feel at home.
That's a really nice motivation to have, and I think that also you're pretty, I'd say, pioneering in the co-living regime, right? I mean, we've seen now a lot of co-living companies, rising and coming up, but you've already have
Mhm.
this 5/7 years of experience, which took
Mhm.
you a long way, and I think that it's interesting that you've managed to stay such a lean team with such a vast portfolio of locations and
Mhm.
rooms. What kind of personas do you have on your team? Who are the different members? And then maybe who of your members are using Ryan, or how did you understand within the
Mhm.
team that you need a software for floor plans?
Well, yeah, that's a lot to unpack as well.
Yeah.
Well, early on, I knew that when I started the company, that software would play a major role um, in the future of our company. So that's also how it started out a little bit. From the moment I had 2, 3 houses in management, I also moved to Berlin, which is actually a little bit the cradle of co-living. And it was back at the time, so you had the biggest co-living companies at the time were Berlin-based. That actually still is. Habit is one of the biggest now, but back in the days you had Quarters, which has been also taken over by Habit then. And so I went to Berlin for 3 reasons. I love the city. Honestly, the vibe. It's like it gives you so much energy.
Yeah.
Second of all, I knew it was the cradle of co-living, so I wanted to go there to get inspired. Also to meet those co-living operators. Back in the time, I visited a lot of projects. I also met many of the CEOs back then. And then 3, I also did the coding bootcamp of Le Wagon. So Le Wagon is one of the best coding bootcamps you have now, and
Nice.
in 9 weeks you kind of like learn the basics. You learn how to build an MVP. And the thing is, I'm not a software developer, huh? Not at all. For me, coding is like bodybuilding. If you don't hit the gym every day, obviously you cannot call yourself a bodybuilder. So I can call myself a coder.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I kind of know the ins and outs of it a little bit, so I can follow up with the team. I speak a little bit the same language when I want to translate IDs for the website into obviously the correct wording for developers to
Yeah.
understand. So that was essential for us to actually build a team of coders to code. So now we have 4 full-time coders on our that build functionalities all the time. My wife always says, "Yeah, when will the website be ready?" I have
Huh.
to tell her, it's never gonna be ready.
Yeah.
Never,
It's
never,
an
because it's an ongoing thing. And once something seems ready, it could be that we encounter someone who does a far better job than us, and then we'll have to adapt. And maybe the legislation will also adapt, so we'll adapt with it. So Coloc Housing is an ongoing project. It's ongoing when it comes to software to make sure that our houses are most self-sufficient as possible. So that's one of the reasons that we can keep our team so lean and mean, is that we want our houses to be self-organizing.
Yeah.
So Coloc Housing will only have realized its full potential from the moment that people are not aware that they're living in a Coloc Housing. So we just want to be behind the curtains, offering them a platform
Yeah.
and services they can choose from. They have to make their own experiences within the house, but we are there to guide them in that process, to facilitate the co-living for them. So
So this comes,
that's really important.
yeah. So that comes across also for operations and also for community. The people that are living in the Coloc housing are
Yeah.
kind of like they're giving from themselves, contributing from themselves to the community.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's
And obviously, we're also there to connect them. I'm not, I said, we're not arrogant enough to say, yeah, we're the best co-living, or everything we do is amazing. We have so much still to learn and to develop and make sure that people um, uh, uh, can develop themselves personally within our houses. So when it comes to community, I have to tell you that since Corona, we still have to catch up a little bit with community. So we're still trying to connect people. But before Corona, we would organize the galas, and we would organize sport events, and is something that will pick up gradually.
Yeah.
But now with the growth of Coloc Housing, we're growing so fast that sometimes we forget, okay, we need to make sure that we also make sure that the communities stay vibrant. Obviously, within the houses, it's the case, because people form a family, they
Yeah.
choose each other.
Mm.
So that's one of the USPs of our website, is that they vote for the candidates they want to live with. So
Oh, wow.
candidates get on our website, they apply for the room they want. They arrive in a chat room with their future roomies, and then the future roomies get in touch with the candidates, and they choose the candidate with whom they want to live. So this is already in place, but
Wow.
inter-house and inter-city community, it's still something we have a lot to learn. And there's still a long way to go to make sure that also that communities can also interact with each other
Yeah.
across cities. But to answer also your question regarding our operations, obviously we have a team that is very busy with the operations, daily operations, property management, with the community management. We have a team that is busy with the development of those houses. Meaning selecting the houses, the projects, also making the plans, following up on renovations, and then obviously decorating and then launching the houses. And that's where actually Rayon is also coming into play. At least the last 3-4 months, we've seen a big change when it comes to that. Is that how did we do it before Rayon? It was just like sending over a PDF, plans in PDF and then we would mark our I say remarks on the plans with in preview. We would put little arrows on the plans and then circle it and okay, this door needs to be there and this needs to be there. Which what is great now of working with Rayon is that we can really collaborate together with 2-3 people. Like, hey, let's tag some comments in the plans, and then we pick up from there, and we can very fast come to the ideal layout, the ideal situation of how we envision the house to be.
Yeah.
So for me, Rayon was actually the combination of floor planner. Obviously, you cannot compare at all a floor planner with Rayon, to tell you honestly. But for me, it was a combination and the easiness of floor planner. Figma, we are already using it for web design, and I was very happy to see that a lot of features that or in Rayon, you could also come. I don't know if he got inspired by Figma or not, or he took some things over, but you can see the similarities, and it's really nice. And you could say that because of the ease of use of Rayon, we come much faster. We deliver much faster on our plans, which is for us a great advantage.
Yeah.
I still, I'm very, how to say, when it comes to software, I'm very high demanding, I have to tell you. If there's one thing that I could say for Rayon or Stas as something that they could improve on and help people, for example, is that it's not always easy for people that didn't study architecture to imagine the height of certain spaces.
I see.
For example, in attic rooms, sometimes I would have the idea, let's put this there or let's put that there. But you don't always see that it's not possible because you have obviously the roof, which is a cellar roof, and you don't have the right heights. So you would put a shower actually at the end of the room, and then you would say, okay, no, this is not possible. And then you would say, okay, if you could work with the height lines, like we say, okay, the height in this room at this certain point is 2 meters, and the height a little bit further is 1.40 meters. So it would go down. That very easily the software could recognize, okay, this object that you're placing in this corner is not possible.
Yeah,
so
that's very
if
true.
I have just one advice, maybe for the future roadmap of of Rayon, it's that. But other than that, honestly, it's a great tool. It's
Hmm.
really great. I
That's
like
really.
it a lot
Hmm.
because it really helps me to communicate with architectures and to speak the same language and to be at the same baseline, which was not always possible for me. There was always some kind of a black box going on. Like they would tell me this is not possible, and I would not always be able to understand them. And sometimes I had the feeling that it was possible, but I didn't want to do it. And now we're at the same level playing field.
Yeah.
For me, it's really nice
Yeah. Yeah.
to be on the same level as architect. Although I don't have an architectural background, but I kind of can speak the same language, and I can also better pinpoint also how I view the situation.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's definitely one of our objectives, to democratize space design, to make it more
yeah,
accessible for people that
yeah.
aren't.
That's the word.
Mhm.
Accessible and democratize. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. That's really glad to hear that you find that valuable, and you really managed to kind of point different milestones of the process. If it's okay, I want to go back for a bit and kind of like uh,
Mhm.
clarify different things. So you're saying that in the team do you work with outsourced architects, or do you have architects on your team?
Yeah, we have interior architects in our team. We
Sure.
don't have in-house architects. We work with outsourced architects
Yeah,
because
like
some,
Kate, actually, which I've
yeah,
met as
yeah,
well.
and yeah, they use what is it, AutoCAD and
Mhm.
ArchiCAD and also SketchUp and things like that.
Mhm.
What is great is now is that I can, they send me the plans. I can easily upload it in Rayon.design, and I can share with them. And immediately we are actually collaborating, which is
Yes.
actually uh, 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 for a really improvement of how things were before.
Yeah, and you're
Um,
using it so for the preliminary stage where you've started to make feasibility studies, and for the more advanced phase when you're actually
yes,
communicating with
yeah,
architects.
both phases.
Both
Yeah,
phases.
because if obviously the rentability of the project comes down to rooms, right?
Mm.
Bedrooms. So we need to check, okay, how many bedrooms, how big is the house, how big are the common areas, and then we can put prices on it. And if once we can put prices on it, we can calculate rentability. And this
Mhm.
is what we do. Obviously, what we do first, we also work with Matterport. I don't know if you
Mhm.
know Matterport.
Yeah, of
So
course.
we do a quick scan of the house, and then we export it like the PDF, and then we put this in Rayon.design, and from there we pick up. Obviously, it's not that accurate, so we always need to do detailed measurement. Once
Right.
we decide to
Mhm.
purchase the house, we do detailed measurement, and then we work in detail in the plans. But
Mhm.
to answer your question, yes, we use it for feasibility, and we also use it for the final plans. Yeah.
Nice, nice. And do you have in Coloc Housing, so you mentioned you have like these spaces that you have that are repetitive. So the room unit, the common space unit, and the kitchen. Do you use the Orion block library? Have you created a Coloc Housing block library, or do you use every time different
No,
one?
we're not there yet, but we'll at some point we'll have to. We'll
Mhm.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we started to create a small library, but it's not that elaborate yet. But I
still
know
work
that
in
in the future
progress.
we'll elaborate on that. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, like you said, in a total scope of things, and also in the smallest configuration, like work in Coloc Housing is work in progress. So it comes into.
Yeah, no. I think that's the company, yeah. You cannot say, okay, now it's done. It's a done deal.
And
It's
it's,
a living organism,
yeah, and it's
a
cool.
company.
Yeah,
That's
so
how I see it.
absolutely. And it's really important to be agile, right? To always relate to what's happening on site or to the different needs that come up. So I think with when I'm talking about blocks, we do have these block libraries that are supposed to
Yeah.
provide as many accessible drag and drop elements for you to use. But yeah, making custom blocks and custom libraries are also definitely a part for us to try to help people, as you said, work faster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
that's
we'll learn now. I have to tell you as well. I know that the possibilities are also endless at some point because there are some. We have some suppliers now as well for decoration. Thing is that would be cool, for example, to be able to scan them because we always use the same beds. So
yeah.
we scan the beds and then we have actually the right dimensions for the beds in Rayon.design.
I don't know if you're familiar with a Belgian brand called Live Light.
Live
They,
life now.
so they are also Ryan users. Their whole thesis is doing circular furniture. So they rent furniture, then they refurbish it. They have exactly what you're describing. They have a custom library with all their furniture pieces to a T, so to the exact dimensions. And that's how they communicate with their clients. They do test fits, and that's how they make sure everything, is super precise. Just to say that that we see that use case for Ryan libraries. Yeah, I think generally speaking, we talked a lot about how you would use Ryan, who on the team would use Ryan, so architects, biz dev. One question for you: do you feel like Ryan can be helpful when it comes to sales or operations internally when you're working with the software that you're using to manage Coloc Housing, to know which apartments or rooms are booked and not? So are you using floor plans for that, or not either? It's more like a
No,
list. Mm-hmm.
no. For us, it's so we did our own software. Huh? We have
Yeah, with
own
your
PMS.
yeah.
Yeah. So thing is that people come on our website, they see the house they like, the address, and then they see the bedroom that is available in that house, and they apply. So
Nice.
they actually write a small introduction letter. They say, "Hey, I'm Shira from Israel. I did already co-living before. I love to join you. These are my hobbies.
Mm.
Could we get in touch?"
No.
They need to create a community. Huh? I have to tell you, the best cohesion you have by letting those communities live by their own principles, but providing them the tools and the services that help them create that community,
Yes.
facilitate that community. And this is what we provide. It's like a platform for them to be able to organize themselves. And this is what we are, but the experience is there. How impersonal is it for people to actually book a room? I just book a room. And,
Yeah.
and then, let's say tomorrow, a new person comes in. You haven't selected this person to live with.
Yeah.
And then this person is just dropped into your house, into
Yeah.
your home.
Mm.
It doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work.
You want to have like a place where you have
Hmm.
like-minded people when they have something in
Yeah,
common to help kick off their relationship. It's
it's
maybe a
true.
more superficial relationship or a very deep one, but they need this initial starting
Yeah,
point. Mm.
it needs to be a spark, and that's how we separate ourselves from other co-living agencies. Is that with other co-living agencies, you book the room, or you have a phone call, and then they place you in a house where there's a vacancy. But
Mm.
this is not how it works for us.
Yeah.
This is not what we want. We
Yeah.
want really for people, like I already told you. Ali, our job is simple in the sense that we're just there to facilitate.
Yeah.
And we want to create decorate houses as you would decorate your own house to feel at home. Not
Yes.
going to put, because it's trendy, for example, wooden slats with just a small cushion on top of it because it looks good on the picture. No,
Mm.
we want a decent couch where you can have really long marathons, Harry Potter marathons with your house. This is what we want,
Perfect.
and this is how we operate.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I really love to hear, that you go so in depth with your thought process from, the overall management of almost 75 buildings, hundreds of rooms, to the actual person that's going to sit on a couch and watch a Harry Potter movie. So,
Yeah,
yeah, so that's amazing.
it's.
So, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's been really a pleasure
Mhm.
talking to you and learning more about Coloc Housing, and hearing your
Yeah.
take on it. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks a lot, Shira, and good luck to you. You're doing a good job with Rayon.design. I think the
Thank you so
future
much.
is bright.
Thank you. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah. Bye, yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.